Question number 3, Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. What recent reports has he received about the outlook for the New Zealand economy?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the Reserve Bank last week issued its monetary policy statement for June. It forecasts the economy will expand by around 4% in the year to June 2014, with growth increasingly broad-based and increasingly self-sustaining. It also forecasts that inflation is expected to remain near the midpoint of its 1 to 3% target. However, inflationary pressures are expected to increase. It notes that despite recent falls in dairy prices, export prices remain high by historical standards. These factors, together with an extended period of relatively low interest rates, are supporting what the Reserve Bank calls robust growth in incomes and in demand.
Supplementary question, Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Supplementary to the Minister. In releasing its latest forecasts, what key assumptions did the Reserve Bank make about the economy over the next few years?
Mr Speaker, the Reserve Bank says its outlook for the next few years depends on several key assumptions. It says prices for New Zealand's exports are expected to fall further from current levels before they stabilise at levels that will remain high by historic standards. The trade-weighted exchange rate is expected to fall gradually over the next 3 years. Annual net migration is assumed to peak at the end of 2014 before easing at a similar rate to the last migration cycle in the early 2000s, and annual house price inflation is projected to ease from its peak of over 10% late last year to under 1% within the next 4 years.
Supplementary question, Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
What reports has the Minister received about the government's financial position as it moves to return its books to surplus next year, in line with its wider economic programme?
Honourable Bill English.
Speaker, the Treasury last week released the government's financial statements for the 10 months to the 30th of April. They showed the operating deficit was $1.37 billion for the 10 months, about $148 million smaller than forecast in the budget. Core Crown revenue was $12 million below forecast, while Core Crown spending was $90 million below forecast. The results confirm that the economy is on track to meet Treasury's forecasts, which include a modest budget surplus in this next financial year.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
In setting a track back to fiscal surplus next year, how has the government ensured the income tax and income support systems are fair and continue to help those households most in need?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, a combination of decisions over the income tax and support systems provide significant income redistribution from higher income households to lower income households. Latest estimates show that households earning over $150,000, that is the top 15% of households by income, will pay 49% of income tax in this year. But when benefit payments, working for families, paid parental leave and accommodation supports taken into account, these 15% of households will pay 74% of net income tax, and that's excluding national super. Households under $60,000 a year, which is just under half of all households, are expected to pay 9% of income tax, but when we take into account their income support payments, they pay no net income tax at all. The $2.5 billion of income tax expected to be paid by households earning under $60,000 a year will be more than offset by the $7.3 billion they will receive in income support.
Question number 4, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr Speaker, this question is to the Minister of Immigration and asks, is he satisfied with the current immigration policy settings?
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.